In order to speed up your entry in the estimate, you want to create an activity codebook. An activity codebook is nothing more than a collection of activity codes with a crew, production, and materials. In this example, I've set up one for my 36-inch RCP. And you notice as I was looking for that there was a levels, and this is the level number here that controls the level. You can see that I have level 1 is 4, level 2, level 3, level 4, so finally at level 5 I'm into my activity. It's a good idea to kind of limit these levels to maybe 6 or less, 5 or less, so that you can simplify your input into your estimate. So now I have the activity code, which is a unique code. I have the description. I can have a summary code so that I can get subtotals later on in my estimate. Of course, my unit of measure. We already talked about the level number. And then I have an alternate cost code. Now what this can be used for is your export to accounting. So maybe this code is not going to be in your budget when it goes out to the field, but this code. So as you make that export, it will make that match and use the alternate cost code. So a very nice feature. You can also, in the Customize tab, put an alternate cost code description. You can indicate whether this is a marine item or not, so this would activate the marine uplift for the workers' comp. And then you can put in a crew. And of course you could get your pop-up and see all of your crews here. Your production type, just like you would inside TreeView. Your workers' comp code that would follow that. So let's say I'm going to use my underground workers' comp. And this is a nice feature because when you indicate, you could indicate your standard 4-digit code for all the states and then indicate in the estimate setup that you're working in Texas, and it will go and use the TX5507 workers' comp code. Calendar I typically leave blank because I want to go off of my default for the whole estimate, but you could put in a calendar there. And then I'll put in a production rate. And I want to click off, I want to automatically pull in my resource codes. I set up 2 resources. One is my aggregate, and I just have inputted those right from my system-wide material codebook. Now you notice that I can put an override price, but I want the price to come in from my material codebook. So typically you don't override the price here, nor the units. But in this case, I'm going to have a conversion factor of 0.1 tons per lineal foot because I know that's the amount of aggregate that I need to add for my trench bedding. So it's going to be converting this off of the number of lineal foot for the item. Now I have set up the 36-inch RCP so that I have a waste factor of 5%. And I'm going to also just bring in my price from my system-wide codebook and not override the price. So now I go into my tree view to my 36-inch RCP item, and I'm going to go out and pull in that activity. Again, I can search on description, or I can just use my levels to find it. There's my 36-inch RCP. You notice that it has brought in my production rate, my lineal footage right there. It pulls that from the bid item, and then I put OK. Now I have the calendar comes in from my system-wide. It comes in from the setup for the estimate. There's my workers' comp, my production rate, and there are my 2 resources. Now you notice on this one that I have 26 tons because it put 0.1 times my linear footage to come up with that conversion rate to give me a total of 26 tons. And I have a waste factor of 5% for purchasing the pipe. So it covers my waste, and I have 273 feet. So you see how quickly it is to, when you're using Activity Codebook, to create activities in HeavyBid.